Hi, welcome to Midwest Magic Cleaning. I am doing something very, very different today because I think that I need the help, and I think that a lot of other people out there could also use this help. So, regular viewers of the channel know that I'm autistic, and I have never done a video yet where I'm just totally unmasked. Normally, whenever I do my videos, I carefully do the narration and take out all the pauses. Like the sentence I just said was truncated and loaded with pauses. I spend hours taking those out so that my voice flows like a regular everyday voice. And I always amp up my voice so that it's more exciting. I make lots of eye contact whenever I can when I'm doing a live and whatnot. This is what I look like whenever I'm not doing that. I also have been dealing with autistic depression because recently what most people would consider to be just a normal change of plans is like a system shock for somebody who is autistic. And you get a panic attack when the plans change suddenly, and then you have like an adrenaline rush for the next day or two while you're panicking through those changes of plans. And then once that slows down or disappears, then you end up getting a depression that settles in. So I'm not going to ramble a long time. I want to show you how I deal with that through cleaning and like personal improvement. But I'm not going to mask while I'm doing it. I'm not going to edit I'm not going to edit out the ums whenever I speak. I'm not going to edit out the pauses when I speak. I am just going to go right into showing you how I deal with it. So let's do that right now. All right, so the first thing that I did, you don't get to see me take a shower or put on my clothes, but the very first thing that I had to clean was myself, and this is a really important part. When you saw me at the beginning of the video, that was me just getting up in the morning and not caring and just throwing on whatever clothes felt comfortable, I guess. So the whole thing with that is, when I'm dealing with depression, if I get a shower right off the bat, do something with this weirdness that I've got going up here because I haven't combed it yet or anything, and then I put on some clothes that feel dressed up, it makes me feel good and it makes me feel special and it changes my mindset. So it may sound really weird for me to put on dress clothes when I'm going to be staying in this house by myself. Which is 99% of, well, it's 100% of my existence is that. There's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do, but I'm going to put on some clothes that make me feel fancy, and I want to do something with my hair, and strangely, I'm going to actually put on cologne. So we're going to go, you're going to watch me try to fix this weird mess. Doing all this, like I said, it changes my my state of mind. It changes my perspective, and it just starts getting me in the mood to get active. Because if I'm actually preparing myself like this, like I'm going to go out on a date or a set of errands or whatever, it gets my mind in that mode. And it makes me not want to sit around all day and do nothing. It makes me feel active. My hair is looking awesome today. Whee! Anyway, we'll fix that off camera because that's going to take a few. By the way, I'm absolutely terrible at hair. I always wear hats because I've had battles with my hair since I've been a little kid. Just never known what to do with it. It always feels weird. So anyway, that's as good as it's getting right now. Next thing I want to do, and this sounds super weird, I'm going to put on my favorite cologne. This is Louis Vuitton L'Immensité, and I'm sure I'm murdering that. It's stupid, it's expensive, but it was a present I did for myself. Again, I'm the only one who's going to be here, but putting this on makes me feel active and makes me feel good about myself. So I'll do one there, one there. I don't have to go crazy with it. I'm not impressing anybody but myself. So that's kind of another thing where I said I'm not impressing anybody but myself. That's actually important to impress yourself. Feeling good is the entire point of getting started on this. I'm not worried about my neck beard. That doesn't make me feel bad. I just don't feel like shaving it. All right. The me part is pretty much done. Oh, I am going to put on a watch that matches my shirt because that is a part of my autism. I have to have a watch or shoes that match my shirt. It drives me crazy if I don't. I'm going to put on my favorite belt, which has this fancy little stripey thing on it. It's nothing special, but it makes me feel special, so that's what I'm doing. Let's do white DCs today. Normally I'm a Nike guy. I think I'm going to do red DCs. Or white DCs with a little bit of red. They don't really match my shirt, but they match my undershirt. And people give me crap all the time and say, oh my God, why do you wear shoes in the house? 2 reasons. That is getting ready to be fixed on the 20th, which is like 14 days away, 2 weeks away. And also there's a bunch of staples that aren't all the way down into the floor, so I have to wear shoes in here. Doesn't matter. Even if this wasn't a problem, that's the second reason I wear shoes, is because as a function of my autism, I feel more comfortable with shoes on than with them not on. It's a texture thing, it's a comfort thing, so I do it. Okay, I totally get it. This is not dirty compared to a lot of people's houses, and part of that is because I live alone and I keep things clean as I go. However, this is most of my dishes dirty because I haven't done them in a couple days. I was so tired last night and so down that I didn't even throw away or put the remainder of my leftovers in the refrigerator. I just was like, I don't care if they go bad. I just went to bed and that was that. So we're gonna get rid of some of this stuff and do the dishes. And kind of the whole point of this, using this as a treatment for depression and for, the autistic shock of plan change, is to make myself feel better about my own skin and my surroundings. And the better I feel about that, the less depressed I am and the less that shock stays in my body. So we're gonna get rid of some of this. That smells awesome. It's like a witch's kettle full of pulled pork, and it was really good, but also there's only so much pulled pork you can eat. So that's a whole bunch of wasted food. Sorry for people who hate waste. Sometimes when you're dealing with depression, you just do crap like this where you're like, I'm not dealing with anything in my kitchen. I would rather just go and sulk in my bed for a while than to put this stuff away and do chores. All right, while those dishes are soaking, I'm gonna do a couple things. I wanna put some things away first. But these are some of my favorite snacks, especially when I'm laying in bed at night and playing like Stardew Valley or whatever. However, and there's a reason I'm telling you this, it's actually important. At the store, they ordered the wrong ones. So this says baked cheddar, which means that these things are baked instead of fried or however they normally make them. It tastes almost exactly like the original ones that I like, but the texture is slightly off. They're like drier, they're not as crunchy, and there's a texture difference. That sounds dumb to talk about, but that is enough to send me into sort of an autistic shock. Like the textures are so different, it sends me into a disappointment. And then it's almost like if you go to take a drink out of a glass and you're expecting it to be Coke and it ends up being tea. Like that, there's that much of a shock in texture. So I can't eat these. I ate like, I don't know, look, a third, maybe maybe a third of this. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. It freaked me out. I can't, and I've got 2 of these. So this one that's unopened will be given to one of my family members. Maybe this one too, I don't know. But I'm gonna get rid of them. So it's dumb, I know, but I can't help it. It's a texture thing. Autistic people deal with texture stuff all the time. So while the dishes are soaking, we're gonna go in here. The other thing that I do that really, really helps me out mentally is just making my bed. And most of the time I don't make my bed because I am of the thought process of no one ever comes in here but me. And even then during the day, I don't do it that often. And the other thing is, like, I don't normally care that it's made because I'm just gonna fling the blankets off anyway when I come back in here tonight. However, I will be coming in here throughout the day because I'm going to be doing some laundry and hanging up clothes. And I'm telling you that every time you come into a bedroom, if the bed is made and like super tidy, it does something to your brain, something good to your brain. It makes it feel calm and at peace. And so I am going to, even if it's not made awesome, I'm going to at a bare minimum just get the blanket up here and mostly straightened out. It does help immensely. Try it. I mean, even if you make the bed and it doesn't make you feel better, what's the risk in doing it? Like, you've wasted a few minutes, right? So it's worth it just to at least try it out. But for me, it's so little effort for such a dramatic change psychologically. And I've already washed all these bed sheets and blankets and stuff. Otherwise, that's one of the things I would be getting done today. Also, for some reason, I have the VeggieTales theme song in my head, and I have no idea why. So that's going to be in there all day. And now if it's in your head too, you're welcome. Okay, that part's done. Okay, time to do the nasty. This doesn't take that long, so I'm just gonna grit my teeth and do it. But already I can tell you that just the movement of walking around my house, getting dressed up and feeling good about the way that I look, and just getting the blood flowing, just for motion, has already started to make me feel better. And then looking around my kitchen and seeing things get more organized, for some reason it's like it helps organize my brain too. It's like the chaos of the mess ended up influencing the chaos of my brain. And the more I get that stuff ironed out and things put away, it seems like my brain does the same thing. And I don't know if that's the way everybody feels when they clean, but it's the way I feel when I clean, and it helps me out immensely. I get asked every time I show this thing on video, but I get asked where I get this thing from. I found it on Amazon. I just looked for dish drainer and that one popped up, so I got it. And it's got dishwater all over my stuff and junk. All right, let's do a quick wipe down of the stove. We're not using any cleaning products whatsoever. All I'm worried about is getting some stuff basically done, because the goal here is not necessarily to deep clean my house. It's to deep clean my brain. I can't deal with this funk all day, and this is something that we deal with in autism a lot. I mean, a whole lot, is having to deal with these stupid, invasive depressions that kind of pop up out of nowhere, and the slightest thing can set it off, and it's such an annoyance. And we know that it's an annoyance. It's pretty crazy. That's just water. I'd invite you into my laundry room, but the room part of the phrase laundry room is said with heavy air quotes. There is no room in here at all, and I will be building a new one. So the last thing I want to do, the last major thing I want to do, is at least start laundry. Knowing that I got it off my plate, and knowing that it's one less chore I have to do, and that everything that I could possibly want to wear is now available to me, is enough for me to feel way, way better about my surroundings. Get in there. I hate that I'm old enough to make those grunty sigh noises whenever I bend over. All right, that's not a bunch of laundry. That's not bad. So let's at least get these started. Let's go colors, tap cold, and this is an auto washer, so it senses automatically, because I'm fancy like that, son. So what's the point of doing all this cleaning when your brain is screaming at you to not do it? Part of it is, again, I'm not masking, I'm not taking all these pauses out. My brain is screaming at me to do that right now, and I'm not doing it. Because I want you to see what I look like when I'm normal and not editing my audio and all that. Anyway, what is it like? What's the point? When your brain is screaming at you to not do all that stuff, your brain is controlling you as an entity, right? So if you give in to that and you just surrender, the depression can set in worse and worse and worse, because you just sit there, your body gets stagnant, your mind gets stagnant, and then you just sink into a further and further depression. I use cleaning as a treatment because motion is going to kickstart hormone production, dopamine, endorphins. Like the actual motion is going to physically produce those chemicals that help you feel better naturally. There are studies that show like that the actual contraction of your muscles release the same type of chemicals that are used in antidepressant treatments. So this isn't a cure for depression. This is a treatment. There's a big, big difference between those two words. But the second thing is, and I'll show you how that looks here in just a second, is that once I'm done, and once I have to get out of this chair and go across my house to the bathroom, everything that I see from here to there that is not chaotic contributes to a better mood. So I'm removing the chaos from my peripheral vision, and in turn removing the chaos from my brain. So as I go in here, I'm heading to the bathroom. I glance over at my kitchen and go, oh God, I'm so glad that's done. So I go down my hallway, and my bathroom is to my right, but I always glance to my left, and oh, my bed's made. Awesome. I don't have to worry about that later. Shut up, washer. And then I go into the bathroom and I'm like, oh, hey, skull. And then everything's clean, and God, that feels much better. At nighttime, I come back in here and get ready to go to bed, and everything is pretty and clean and organized. I really need to get some more hats. I'm running low. Anyway, yeah, and then as I go back through the house, I look at everything again. These floors will get done in 2 weeks, and that will reduce further my chaotic state of mind. Behind the scenes, there's a tripod. That's how I film. Now the secret's blown. So I started out the day fixing myself first. I feel good about myself. I feel at least somewhat attractive, which I don't feel that way about myself very often. I feel good about the way that I look. I feel good about the way that I smell. I feel good enough about my hair that I can not wear a hat, and that just not having that pressure against my head helps. But I feel the same way about my house. And now, is that going to ease my depression and take it away? No, I'm going to deal with that for the rest of the day and probably the next couple days. But to say that it doesn't help at all is crazy talk. Like it absolutely helps. It doesn't take it away, but it helps. And for the rest of the night, the rest of that stuff that I just did, that I spent just, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes doing, tops. I think I may have spent actually about 15 minutes doing it. That stuff doesn't have to be on my brain anymore. It just doesn't. It doesn't have to. It's not clogging me up. It's not creating a mental traffic jam for me anymore. And so that's why I say I'm using this as a treatment for depression and not a cure for depression. There's nothing that's going to take your depression away. The only thing I would do differently, if I weren't filming this, I would put on some semi-loud happy music. I would put on the album Come On Feel by the Lemonheads, or the album called Hey by Marvelous 3, or the very first Fountains of Wayne album is super happy too. I'd find some happy album and just put it on, and I would do it on my actual record player too, because it would help me bring back some nostalgia from records, and I could just kind of, I don't really dance, but I'd kind of bop around and smile and have a good mood. Anything that influences your mood in a positive way. That's what I do. The only reason I didn't do it on camera is because I get a copyright strike. So, I hope this video is okay to upload. Like, I'm really hoping that it doesn't come off as like exploitation, or I don't even know how to describe it. Let me describe it this way. I have always, or typically, shown autism on my channel in a positive light, because there's a lot of things that we can do that are normal, right? Like quote unquote normal. And I have always shown the things that are possible for autistic people to do, but I've never shown like the downsides of it, and I don't know why, but I think it's important to be truthful about it, because it's not, there are times when it's extraordinarily difficult to deal with, really hard to deal with. And it's, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. I'm so sorry. It's, people talk about sensory overload. I think that's the thing that people talk about the most with autism, is that it's easy for us to get overstimulated and shut down or go into a panic attack. But what a lot of people don't talk about is the under-stimulation that can happen when we take it too far the opposite direction. Right now, I'm under-stimulated. And so I had to find something to do with my body and my brain. And even after this video, I'm going to have to find something to do, maybe Stardew Valley or Pal World or something to keep my brain and my mind busy. Because with me in this house alone, it's very easy for me to get locked into a silence loop where I want to decompress and I don't know fully how. Or I decompress so much that I set my mind in a really dark, bad place. And one of the reasons that happens is because we've learned that if we get overstimulated, we need to de-stimulate by getting someplace quiet and shutting out the world. Shutting out sounds and sights and stuff like that have taken us too far. So whenever we get into a panic attack, sometimes that's what we just assume is what's happening. So we do the same thing, we do the same solution, we try to de-stimulate. And sometimes we're wrong about that. Sometimes the reason that we're in the predicament that we're in is because we're not stimulated enough. So we're using a solution for overstimulation, which is the exact opposite thing that we should be using to treat understimulation. And I think that that's what I've been dealing with for a couple of days. And it's all triggered by, a drastic change in plans that I had my heart set on. And then I was like, well, I can go, maybe I'll go shopping or something and just kind of retail therapy my way through it. And then we had a giant snowstorm and everybody's kind of locked in their houses and I'm stuck here, and I'm not going to use you guys as a sounding board or as my therapist. I'm just saying that because in order for me to treat this condition properly, I have to know what triggered it to begin with. And that's very, very hard for a lot of people who are more unfortunate than me in their autism, in that they can't vocalize or organize the thoughts into ways that they can express those to other people so they can be helped out. I'm fortunate enough that I can compartmentalize and organize and think about those things in my own brain without having to reach out for outside help. That's not lost on me, that I'm very, very fortunate and I feel very blessed because of that. When you've got somebody who can't do those things and they have autism, sometimes, well, all the time, they have to have somebody from the outside who can recognize those problems and then step in to help them solve it. I can tell you that I'm terrified to upload this video. And it's partially because I'd never ever wanted to put out a video where I'm just 100% me, unmasked. But I've always wanted to put out professional looking videos where the narration sounds like what a person without autism is supposed to sound like, I guess. I don't know, that sounds weird, but like I want the narration to be smooth and not have pauses and not have me stutter stepping. And if I talk to the camera, I want to look at the camera, but to me, when I look at that, it's like trying to make eye contact because I know people are going to be watching it. So I'm looking away in the way that I normally do in real life when I speak to somebody. And it just feels like I'm putting out something that is not as polished is what it needs to be. I spend a lot of time polishing myself so that I can look and sound like the average person. And doing an unmasked video is very, it's scary for me. So I'm just gonna throw this stuff on my computer, edit it as far as taking out the, setups of the camera and whatnot, just basic, really basic editing. And then I'm gonna throw it up and see what happens. But I think the main reason I wanted to do this is because I think that every channel needs to have at least one full-on real video. And so far on this channel, you haven't really gotten a full-blown me yet. So this is me. Again, is that going to cure my depression? No. But it will ease it. And the next thing that I do after this video will be, okay, that I'll have to tell myself, okay, this made you feel a lot better. What's the next thing that you can do to make yourself feel a little bit better than you currently do? And then I'll go do that. And then I'll take it in small increments. And basically, it's just me trying to re-stim myself back to normal again. So if it doesn't feel good to put on a video game, I'm not going to play a video game. But if it makes me feel good to vacuum this carpet, then yeah, I'll vacuum the carpet. Little small things that I can do incrementally all day to increase my mood and decrease my depression until I at least feel like I've hit a good, reasonable plateau. So that's what I'm going to do. And if you're autistic and you deal with depression and you're confused about how it started or how to treat it or how to even deal with it, I'm not saying to follow these steps that I'm doing exactly, but I am saying that this is what helps for me. And even though it may not seem like it on camera, I feel 2 to 3 times better than I did when I first turned the camera on. Just even taking my shower and putting on clothes that make me feel pretty and combing my hair, putting on my favorite cologne even though there's no one to impress but me. Sometimes that is the most important person in your life to impress is you. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm doing me for me. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet, we are on our way to 1 million subscribers. We're closing in on 700,000 within probably the next couple weeks. And all of the cleaning that we do on the channel for free is done because we make money from YouTube. That's how we can afford to do it. And when I say me, I mean myself and my oldest son, Jason. Jason will be back tomorrow, and we are going to take a look at our next big hoarded house cleanup, which we're going to be doing this week. The video may not happen this week, but it'll definitely happen the week after. And then we've got another house after that, and another one after that, and possibly another one after that. So we're going into the new year, jumping right back into why 90% of you are here to begin with, which is helping people for free who can't help themselves. So thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys this coming weekend. Later.